Today we are going to tell you a storyline of a movie called Den of Thieves, from the year 2018. The movie starts at night in Los Angeles, where a team of robbers make a violent armed attack and hijack an armored truck. One of the officers tried to defend himself by reaching into his pocket for a gun, but the robbers acted faster and shot him dead. Fortunately, the truck driver successfully sent an emergency signal to call for a backup. Police officers arrive on the scene and engage in a shootout with the robbers. Feeling overwhelmed from the shootout against experienced robbers, one of the police officers calls the headquarters for help. But they're too late, and eventually the robbers escape with the empty armored truck. With the help from Mark, with his GPS tracker, the robbers can escape way easier. Arriving at the hideout point, we can see the faces of the robbers, which were Ray Merriman, the mastermind; Bosco, the bald guy; Levu, Ray's right hand; and lastly Donnie, the driver. And the shocking fact is that each of them were ex-military members who were expelled from their unit and imprisoned for some reason. This explained how the police force got so overwhelmed back in the shootout. Also known that one of their crew, Marcus, was shot dead in the action.
He's done.
Scene moves to Nick driving home. He is the captain of the crime division of the Los Angeles Police Department. At home, Nick's wife Debbie discovers that Nick has been going behind her back seeing other women. She angrily packs up her things and takes their daughters with her. Despite Nick's pleas to hear him out, Debbie hurls obscenities at Nick and hits him. Not long after, Nick got a call about the incident last night. Next, Detective Nick O'Brien investigates the crime scene, and asks the forensics to look for fingerprints left by the robbers. But they got nothing. Apparently Bosco was taking pictures of the detectives from afar, to dig for information about who was going to hunt them. On the other hand, Nick is having a meeting with his crew, and one of his men suspects Ray Merriman.
What about Merriman?
Suspecting a local bartender named Donnie for involvement, Nick finds him at the bar and kidnaps him for interrogation.
Sit down.
Feeling pressured by the situation, Donnie reveals the truth. With enough information, finally Donnie was released with a condition for him to always communicate about their next plans. In the next day, Ray invites Donnie to see their next target, which is a federal bank that was told impenetrable for their extra security. Merriman's plan is to rob the Federal Reserve on Friday of that week, by covertly removing about $30 million in old bills, which are scheduled to be shredded after their serial numbers are deleted from computer records.
Got $30 million, nobody's looking for.
On the other hand, Nick at a parking lot was approached by someone with a divorce letter from court. Right after that, Donnie tries to learn the roads around the bank for their escape plan, and at the hideout Ray and his men discuss their upcoming heist plan. Long story short, Donnie got an idea for a cover as a food delivery man, to be able to get inside the bank, due to the information that the bank employee oftenly orders food from a restaurant. There, Donnie also hid a pack of food in the air duct for unknown reasons. At night, Nick spots Donnie at a restaurant with Merriman and his crew, which makes them suspicious when Nick calls Donnie out. At their hideout, Merriman has his right-hand man Levu hit Donnie and interrogate him, to make sure he hasn't been talking to Nick about their plans. Donnie assures him that he hasn't told him anything about the robbery. Then Donnie went to Nick, to tell him about the Friday plan.
Better wear your best.
Feeling tired, Nick went to a strip club, where he was seduced by a stripper, who asked him to go to her house to have fun. But apparently the house was Ray's, and the stripper girl is one of Ray's crew. In the morning, Merriman finds Nick but does nothing. Knowing it's only one day before the heist, Nick went to his daughter's school, just in case it was his last day meeting her.
Kenna!
When am I gonna see you again?
All right, you better get back to class, okay?
As the day of the heist comes, Merriman and his crew invade Pico Rivera Bank, and take hostages.
$10 million, and if a negotiator even tries to contact us, we plan on killing one hostage.
Nick's team arrives outside as the chaos unfolds. The LAPD negotiator calls and speaks to the bank's manager on behalf of Merriman. To discourage further time-wasting communications, Merriman has one of the crew take a hostage to a back room, where he apparently shoots her. The police negotiator then agrees not to communicate again, until the robbers' demands for money and helicopter are about to arrive in over an hour's time. On the other side, Scene Mark, who successfully hacked the comm line between the Federal Bank and Alameda Company, who were scheduled to deliver money from Pico Rivera to Federal Bank at noon. From here, we know that Merriman invades Pico Rivera to overtake the money delivery, the only way to get inside the Federal Reserve building. The thieves then blow an explosion inside the bank. The FBI thought it was an attempt to open the safe. But Nick was suspicious that it was something else. With that, Nick breached into the bank, and found a hole in the bank to the sewer. And for sure, the thieves managed to escape, and went for the real deal. Not knowing it, Nick is still thinking hard about the real plan. There Nick decides to browse through the sewer, and finds out that the thieves went for the Federal Bank. Meanwhile, there were Ray and Lavu, who managed to get into the bank with the armored truck they stole at the beginning of the film, which has been reworked to look like Alameda Company's truck, and filled with money with the same amount that will be sent from Pico Rivera. Then Bosco was ordered to enter the control room to turn the electricity off, so that everyone in the bank would leave except the CCTV officers. Then the plan starts. They're seeing Donnie, who was hidden inside a cash dolly delivered to the Federal Reserve building by Merriman, and he slips out during a falsely tripped alarm to mount an EMP tool, to mess the CCTV up so that he can freely do his job. Then he collects the targeted old bills that have been earmarked for shredding, and he stashes them in bags, and throws them in with the refuse. After that, Donnie immediately escapes the cash count rooms through the air ducts, with a package that turns out to be the food package he hid before, with the aim of getting out of the bank with the food delivery guy cover.
Oh, get out of here.
Bye.
Not long after, the cash count finished with the right amount. Then they order Bosco to follow the garbage truck, for the money Donnie throws inside earlier. Finally they managed to stop the truck, and they immediately left before police realized their plan. Then they bring the truck to the landfill to be destroyed, so that they would not leave any evidence from the action. Meanwhile, Nick, who has just arrived at the crime scene, immediately catches up to Donnie and captures him, beating him until he tells them where Merriman is going.
Where the fuck is he?
Merriman, Bosco, and Levu try to make their escape with the money bags from the waste truck, but hit a traffic jam and are blocked. Nick's team spots them, and attempts to shoot them as the robbers try to escape. A shootout occurs initiated by Merriman, killing one of Nick's men. Nick then ordered his men to find a shortcut to take down Merriman, as they know they are not up against ordinary thieves. Then one of Nick's men managed to down Bosco, and shot running Levu down. But Merriman gets away. Nick chases and corners Merriman. Nick's hand was wounded in the shootout. Even though he's injured, Nick is still trying to catch and shoot Merriman, who's running up the fence, and wounding Merriman's side body. Then Nick rushes to wounded Merriman immediately. Wanted to fight back, Merriman tries to shoot Nick, but instead Nick's shot hit Merriman again. Feeling defeated, Merriman raises an empty gun to Nick, forcing Nick to shoot him. As Merriman lies on the ground dying, Nick kneels and consoles him. When Nick inspects Merriman's SUV, he only finds bags with shredded paper. He also finds that Donnie has escaped custody. There Nick sat in the back of his car, thinking about the purpose of the heist. Later on, Nick investigates further about the heist, and suddenly realizes something. Nick then goes to Donnie's bar and sees pictures of him, with some of the crew members from the heist. It is revealed Donnie masterminded the heist, to keep all of the stolen cash for himself in a second garbage truck in a car tire, and send it to some place in Panama. After the passage of some time, Donnie is working in a London bar. There he meets someone from a diamond shop across the street, and from his behavior we know he is planning for a new heist.
Beers on me.